We're now ready to talk about mistake number 4, which is applying inconsistent formatting when creating your content. Let me show you an example. Take a look at this excerpt from a security report and see if you can notice inconsistencies. How many inconsistencies can you spot? Let's discuss some of the visual inconsistencies that I noticed in this example. See if these match what you came across as well. So, first of all, there was an inconsistency in how much white space I saw between this heading and its paragraph and the following heading and its paragraph. Did you notice that? You might say, okay, fine, but that's not a big deal. And I agree, that in itself is not a big deal. But formatting inconsistencies like this contribute to the overall look of your report. And inconsistencies like this make your report look less professional. They all add up. Also, inconsistencies confuse your readers because formatting is meant to provide a visual guide through your content. And if that guide is inconsistent, your readers can easily get misdirected and at some point might not even continue reading your writing. What else? Well, how about this? You probably noticed that the headings were not formatted consistently. The colors were different, and also there were some problems with capitalization of the words in these headings. Make sure to follow consistent capitalization principles throughout your content. Next, I wanted to point out, and perhaps you noticed this as well, that there was a name of the tool called JD GUI, and the first time the author mentioned it, JD GUI was all lowercase, and then the second time it was all uppercase. Which one is the correct way? I'm not sure. But I suggest you pick one and stick with it. Also, notice that the app called Grand Marine that is being discussed here, in the first case you come across it, it is spelled as a single word, and then in the second case there's a space between these two words. Which is the correct way? I don't know, but you better find out and stick with that correct name. Did you notice that the content, or at least some of the content here, was not following consistent styling? You see, these words appear to be using a different style than the style or the font that is being used for the rest of the document. These problems occur quite frequently when you copy and paste content, and sometimes the original formatting is retained and that formatting conflicts with the formatting of the rest of your report. Once again, you might be wondering, how important is this? Some of your readers might not even notice this consciously, but as I suggested to you earlier, all of these inconsistencies add up and contribute towards detracting from the look and the professional nature of your content. They will confuse your readers in aggregate. So what your readers want is formatting that guides them through your text without distractions, and these inconsistencies create distractions. So here's how I would adjust the text that you saw. Take a look at it. Make sure that you recognize that I am now referring to all of the app names consistently. The way that the headings are presented is consistent. The style or the font is uniform. I adjusted those problems that you just saw. Does this make this writing better? It does. To what extent is this important? Not as much as the content itself, not as much in which perhaps you structure your narrative. Yes, this is not as important as some other aspects of your writing. But as I suggested to you earlier, too many of these formatting issues will distract your reader and detract from the significance of your writing. So my suggestions is that to make sure that you have uniform and helpful formatting, you avoid having too many fonts, too many colors, too many forms of emphasis. Yeah, we can now use so many colors. Doesn't mean that you should use them. Stick to a couple of colors per document. Pick a couple of fonts. Don't use more than 2. Sometimes less is more, and this is one of those scenarios. Also, make sure that the spacing between the elements in your writing is consistent. I'm referring to how much spacing you assign to the lines or to the white space between your paragraphs, between your headings, between other elements of your text and images. Also, take advantage of the style management features of your word processing application. For example, if you use Microsoft Word, use the styles that come with Microsoft Word so that instead of manually formatting every single element, you assign predefined or customized styles consistently, and this way you're less likely to not notice an inconsistency problem. Also, be especially careful with content that you paste from some other app because you might accidentally include formatting inconsistencies that conflict with how the rest of your text might be formatted. Finally, make sure that you maintain uniform capitalization conventions throughout your document. And that means the way that you capitalize your headings, the way that you capitalize product names, and perhaps commands that you include. Sometimes it's unclear what's the proper capitalization. Do your best to figure out what's the proper way to capitalize things, and then stick to that principle uniformly throughout your content.